This is a first grade lesson on heredity, similarities and differences found between parents and children by Tiffany Hammock. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to make observations that plants and animals are alike but not exactly like their parents. Let's get started. Look at the picture. Thinking independently, in what ways are we alike? In what ways are we different? What do you notice about the children in the picture? Let's first look at the similarities. Think about major similarities that humans share. What comes to mind? When I look at the picture below, the first thing I think of is most everyone has two eyes. We are born with two eyes. What are other things that come to your mind? That's right, one smile. We all have one smile full of teeth, two hands, and 2 feet. Are there other similarities that we have? What about differences? What are physical differences among us? The first thing that comes to my mind is that some of us are girls and some of us are boys. What are other things that you notice with this group of children that are different? That's right, some people have straight hair, some people have curly hair. Another difference between people is the color of our hair. Some hair is brown, some are blonde, like the children in the picture. Some people have red hair, orange hair, black hair, gray hair, and every color in between. Skin color is different also. Some people's skin color is black, some white, some tan, and multiple shades in between. Now that we've got our minds thinking about similarities and differences, consider what you already know. We all have certain traits that make us unique. Have you ever been told that you look like one of your parents? Have you ever had a pet that had babies? Did they all look exactly alike? What similarities and differences do you notice in these pictures? For this activity, you won't write anything down. I want you to work with a partner to brainstorm some of the similarities and differences you notice in these pictures. Think about the picture we just reviewed of all the children to guide your thinking. Similarities and differences exist in animals too. Now that you've had a chance to work together and observe some of the similarities and differences of the animals in these pictures, let's work together and create a list on the board. First, looking at the kittens. Similarities. The first thing that I noticed with the kittens is that they all have two eyes. What are other similarities that you noticed? That's right, they all have whiskers, two ears, and fur. How about differences? The first difference I noticed is that some of them have more black on their fur than others. What are differences that you noticed? That's right, some are more white. Some have a black nose, and some have a pink nose. There are many similarities and differences that we can find between the animals in this picture. Let's move on to the puppies. The first similarity that I noticed with the puppies is they all have paws. What are other similarities that you've noticed in this picture? That's right, all the puppies have a white streak on their forehead. They all have two ears. They all have fur. What about differences? The first difference I noticed is that some only have brown spots. What are other differences that you noticed? That's right, some have black spots. Some have multiple colors, and some only have two colors. For the next activity, you will work in cooperative learning groups. This is what I expect you to follow for your group procedure. 1. Each member of the group will participate in sharing ideas. 2. Each member of the group is responsible for completing their own worksheet. 3. Differing of opinions should be handled with respect. Everyone's input is important. And last, if an agreement of ideas cannot be reached within your group, then ask for assistance from the teacher. For this next assignment, you will follow the directions listed at the top. You will see 2 envelopes in the center of your group. One is labeled parents, the other is labeled offspring. The directions of the assignment say to choose one parent picture and one offspring picture. Glue the picture in each box. Next, you're going to compare similarities and differences between the parent and offspring and record your observations below. You'll see that in each envelope there are plants and animals. That's because all living things pass down their traits the same way. You will choose one parent, then match it to the correct offspring from the other envelope. The people in your group may have different pictures that you're working with, but you will work together to help every member of the group identify traits. Let's look at an example. As you can see, I found the matching pair of goats, one from the parent envelope and the matching from the offspring envelope. I've glued the pictures in each of the columns. For the mama goat, I've looked at her traits and noticed that she has a black, white, and brown coat. She has large horns, and she has brown and white socks, which are the bottom part of her legs. For the offspring or child, I've noticed that she has a solid brown face. She has a brown and white coat. She has brown and white socks, just like her mom. And she has small horns. For your assignment, you will list all the similarities and differences that you notice while working together in groups. Let's talk about learning goals and common misconceptions with similarities and differences between parents and offspring. Traits are characteristics that can be passed from one generation to another. That means from parent to child. We receive an equal amount of traits from each of our parents. Traits are characteristics, and it's a common misunderstanding that girls may receive more traits from their mother and boys may receive more traits from their father. The truth is, we receive an equal amount from each of our parents. Plants, animals, and humans all pass traits from a parent to their offspring. It's easy to see the connection between humans and animals, and the common misconception is to leave out plants. But the process for plants is the same as with humans and animals. Every plant or animal has differences that make it unique from its parents. Using what we have learned, we will play Trait Bingo to help us practice our understanding of similarities and differences. I will make a series of statements, and you will place a marker in the square if the answer is true. Let's start by placing a marker over this free square. The object of this game is to get 5 in a row. So you want to get a whole line of markers, and then you can yell bingo. Let's practice the first 2 statements together. Number 1, cover the curly hair square if you have curly hair. I will cover it because it's true. I do have curly hair. So I've placed my marker over that square. Take a moment to turn to your partner and check that they've answered the question correctly. Are there any questions so far? Next statement, cover the square marked brown eyes if you have brown eyes. My eyes are blue, so I will not cover that square because the statement is not true. We'll go through the remainder of the questions until we get a bingo. So we'll use the links below for extra practice. The first game is Genetic Zoo Nursery. Use your knowledge of traits to help the parents and children find each other at the zoo. The next is Aim for the Right Genes. Use this link to learn about genes and match the facts that we've learned today. Now that we have learned about traits and the similarities and differences found between parents and offspring, we'll take a short assessment to demonstrate our understanding. I will read each question aloud, and you will mark the appropriate answer working independently and silently. For the first 3 questions, the answer will be true or false, and you will circle the one that matches. For the last 2, you'll use the pictures and answer the questions appropriately. Great job learning about the similarities and differences found between parents and their offspring in humans, animals, and plants.